such hardship and damage to not just the legal process of dealing with allegations of this serious nature. They've left, you know, unspeakable harm to people that, you know, men like Robert, innocent men, and that deserve to live out their lives and to go through their own learning processes, which is like learning, okay, that wasn't great for me, and this is, and Robert's been through all of that. Robert went through that when we met. Before we met, he was already ready. God doesn't give you a new life until you're ready for it. And this idea that Robert never grew out of all of that, you know, in his youth is a fabrication. And I really hate that what's happening in, you know, I guess his support base and his fan base. I love that people are still enjoying his past music. I love it. I think it's great. Like, I love seeing fan pages where they're honoring, you know, his work from the 90s to 2000s and all of that. I think we've got to keep that going because it was such a beautiful time for him, and he has so many incredible memories of that time. But you've also got to remember that he's a new man now, and Robert is the kind of person that wants to keep elevating, and he's never going to be that person who doesn't keep growing and becoming something new, because that's who he is. He's not one of those people that's going to fade out and disappear. Because I had to restart that because I was losing my chain of thought. But like, Robert is somebody who is always challenging himself to grow and become something new. And so people need to expect him to evolve, expect him to be different, and allow him to be that. I think that it's incredibly like exploitive and entitled to expect your celebrities, whoever it is that you support, because of their work, their artistry, and their development of, you know, creativity, and to expect them to stay the same, and to expect them to be in the same position and hold them to that. Because when you do that, you're hurting the artists themselves, whether it be when you post something that suggests that he's still, you know, the R. Kelly of the 90s or 2000s, and, you know, he still has the same chain of thoughts, the same desires, and all of these like kind of assumptions about him have really got to stop. Because this is why I started this platform. And I know I'm going to title this video that I'm building a vineyard. I've decided to plant a vineyard, actually. But I want to say that I started this idea many years ago. I wanted to plant a vineyard, and I wanted to grow my own grapes and harvest my own grapes, and then obviously develop my own wine, organic wine, and also ciders and other things as well, because I've always been entrepreneurial minded, always been I'm going to say this, I really hate having to speak, and there's going to be a lot of pauses, because the thing about recordings, the thing about videos, and this is why I avoid lives and I avoid all of these things sometimes, because you can't correct yourself. So I'm going to babble a little bit and I'm going to go off page, and please excuse me for that. But when I say that I'm planting a vineyard, this isn't something new, but I've decided to really go forward with that, and it's really exciting for me. I don't know where and how, or, you know, like in terms of how it's going to evolve, but maybe I'll take you on that journey with me if like some of you are interested in that. I think it's a beautiful thing to grow anything, and I think it's a beautiful thing to grow something that's your own as well, on your own land. And that's just something I've always wanted to do. You know, everything about me, I think we all evolve, but I think I'm the kind of person who I feel, because I'm not, you know, I'm not a public figure. I'm not at this point. But I like to see myself evolve as a human being, but I like to develop my dreams into concrete ideas, the ones that have value, and that's what's really important to me. So anyway, I was just saying that I think it's important for people to let Robert evolve and become the man he is today. Now, I want to also just say something. I'm not going to address, you know, the incidents that you see online, my name being, you know, I guess defamed and mischaracterized. This isn't something new, and it's something I have to get used to, because this is, I think, part and parcel of being Robert's partner, his real partner. And I think that, you know, having people misrepresent your views, misrepresent your life, misrepresent your intentions, and misrepresent your character, because people in this world, there are a lot of people that are really good, and they just are curious, they're inquisitive, they want to know, they want to understand, they want to see into, I guess, Robert's life. And I've been trying to, I guess, give people a glimpse of that, like his real private character outside of the RKELLY. And I've got to tell you, this is a constantly growing process for me as his partner. I'm constantly learning things about him. I'm not going to say that I know him completely, because that's the whole journey of, I guess, falling in love and loving somebody, is you learning about them as a person. And so I'm not going to sit here and say I know everything about Robert, but I will say that there's nobody on this planet that knows him better than me and understands him more intimately and better than I do. And I don't know how God does it, but sometimes God puts people together that just get each other. They just understand each other. They just know each other from the time they meet. They understand how each other thinks. And Robert and I were like that from the time we met. There was just this unspeakable understanding and knowing that that's my person, and this is where I want to be, and this person gets me and sees me, and this person understands me, and I feel safe with this person. I'm never going to have to question whether I can trust them, whether they're going to betray me, whether they're going to, you know, do what other people have done to me. And that's been Robert and my relationship and the foundation of that. So that's why it doesn't matter to me what people say. Like, it doesn't matter to me what they think. It doesn't matter to me what they feel, what they experience. It has nothing to do with me and Robert. Like, we're not, you know, we're not a showmance. We're not like out here. I'm not out here promoting a fake relationship, as people say, because I think that that's demonic activity. I think what Joycelyn Savage has done, and Azriel Clary and all of these women, is demonic activity. They've been led by dark spirits, you know, and, you know, I think it does Robert a great dishonor when people don't listen to me, when I actually tell them that Robert can't speak about it because of legal mistakes, huge legal errors, and corruption and unethical behavior by his attorneys, that we are addressing privately, and we're going to address legally as well. But I can't speak too much about that, because I need to wait and do the process right. But I have explained all of this on our blog, but people just do not want to listen. They don't want to hear it, and they don't want to accept anything that doesn't fit whatever it is they believe about Robert, because I don't know what it is, why they are holding Robert to this character or caricature, but whether it be fans or supporters or his haters, people out there, there majority of people, except for people on this platform and that follow me, I'd have to say, and with the exception of others who are naively and innocently probably following other platforms that have no idea who Robert is, but are misleading them down a path that's going to end in a dead-end road. Apart from the people that follow this platform, I would have to say people are trying to hold Robert to a caricature of their own imagination.